My first days in America. I finally got a job in the United States. I felt both excited and nervous. This chance was my fresh start. It was my new adventure. I had a dream in my mind. I wanted to enter an office with a cup of coffee in my hand. I wanted to look confident and important. I wanted to feel like a true professional. But first, I had to learn how to buy that coffee. On my very first morning, I went to a famous coffee shop called Starbucks. The smell inside was amazing. It was warm and rich. It made me think about being productive and focused. It also reminded me that coffee can be very expensive in America. I joined the long line and waited. In my head, I repeated my order many times. A small coffee, I whispered to myself. That is easy. Nothing can go wrong. When it was finally my turn, I smiled at the cashier. She was a friendly young woman. Hi, she said. What can I get for you? I took a deep breath. A small coffee, please, I answered. She tilted her head. You mean a tall? She asked. I paused. Tall? I thought. That word usually means something big. I felt confused. No, I said slowly. I want a small coffee. She pointed to the menu on the wall behind her. Our smallest size is called tall, she explained. I looked up and saw the words tall, grande, and venti. I did not understand why the smallest was called tall. Maybe it was some sort of American secret. I decided to act like it made sense. Yes, I said. I want a tall coffee. She smiled. Great! Do you want room for cream? My mind went blank. I had no idea what that meant. Was she asking if I wanted more cream? Or was she asking if I wanted extra space at the top of the cup? I panicked. Sure? I replied. I was not sure if it was right, but I had to answer. She typed in my order. Then she said, That will be $4.75. I tried not to look shocked. In my home country, that amount of money could buy a whole bag of coffee beans. But I wanted to seem calm, so I paid with my card. I took a sip. It tasted strong and delicious. It was also expensive, but I felt proud. I had survived my first coffee purchase in America. I learned that a small coffee is called tall at Starbucks. I also learned that room for cream means leaving space in the cup. I left the coffee shop and walked to my new office. On the way, I thought about how different everything felt. Even the simplest tasks here seemed new. But that was part of the journey. A few days later, I faced my next challenge, buying groceries. I needed milk, bread, and some frozen meals. That sounded easy enough. I had done this many times before in my home country. But grocery shopping in the US felt like a puzzle. When I entered the supermarket, I saw rows of products. There were so many brands. There were many sizes. There were many prices, too. It felt overwhelming. I walked slowly and compared labels. I put items in my cart one by one. After about half an hour, I felt proud. I had found everything on my list. I also found a few interesting snacks. Then I got in line to pay. That was where the real test began. The cashier worked very fast. She scanned the items of the person in front of me in just a few seconds. Then it was my turn. I placed my groceries on the conveyor belt and reached for my wallet. "Do you have a rewards card?" the cashier asked. She spoke in a cheerful tone, but I was caught off guard. "A what?" I asked, confused. She repeated, "A rewards card. It can save you money and give you points." I felt a bit embarrassed. "No," I said. She nodded. "Credit or debit?" she asked next. I opened my mouth to answer, but before I could speak, she asked another question. "Do you want cash back?" she said. My mind froze. Cash back? Was she offering me some money? Was she asking if I wanted a discount? I had no idea. No," I managed to say. She pressed some buttons and smiled. "Would you like to round up for charity?" she asked. I felt even more confused. Round up? I thought. Was this some kind of math game? Was she asking me to pick a number? The person behind me sighed. My cheeks got hot. I just wanted to leave. "Sure," I said. She handed me the receipt and thanked me. I grabbed my bags and walked out quickly. Outside, I felt like I had been in a quiz show. Each question made sense once you understood it. But to me, it was like a riddle I had to solve in seconds. The biggest surprise for me was not the coffee sizes or the grocery questions. It was how strangers talk to each other. In my home country, we do not usually talk to strangers. We keep to ourselves. But here, random chats seemed normal. One day, I was waiting at a traffic light. A man in a baseball cap stood next to me. Suddenly, he said, "Great weather today, isn't it?" I looked around. I wondered if he was talking to someone else. But there was nobody else there. He was talking to me. I hesitated. Was he trying to trick me? Did I need to say something special? Then I smiled. "Yes," I said. "It's really nice." He nodded. "Where are you from?" he asked. That question also surprised me. Should I tell him my life story or just give a short answer? "I'm from New York," I said. I had been there for only a few days, but it felt simpler than explaining everything. He smiled widely. "Oh, cool! My cousin lives there. Traffic is so crazy, right?" I realized he just wanted small talk. He was being friendly. "Yes," I replied. "Rush hour is terrible." He laughed and said, "Have a great day." Then, as the light turned green, he walked away. I stood there for a moment. I felt both surprised and happy. This was not just one random event. It happened many times, like in grocery lines or at bus stops. At the grocery store, someone asked if I liked the cereal in my cart. At a bus stop, an older man said, "Nice sneakers! Where did you get them?" Sometimes, people commented on my laptop or phone case when I was at a cafe. At first, I was worried I would say the wrong thing. Over time, I realized these people only wanted a short, pleasant chat. They were not looking for personal details. They just wanted to share a friendly moment. I began to practice small talk too. Phrases like, "Nice day," or "I love your jacket," became easy for me. These small conversations made my days brighter. They also helped me feel more at home. After a busy week, I met a friend for dinner. We went to a casual restaurant with simple food. We each ordered a main dish and a drink. The food was tasty. The waiter was helpful and kind. When the bill arrived, it was $42. I reached for my card. My friend reminded me, "Don't forget to leave a tip." I knew about tipping, but this was my first time doing it in real life. I looked at the receipt. It showed recommended tip amounts 18%, 20%, and 22%. I stared at these numbers. "So we had that on top of the bill?" I asked. "Yes," my friend explained. "Waiters depend on tips for a big part of their income." In my home country, the service charge is usually included in the total. If we leave a tip, it is a small amount. But here, tipping is normal, and it can be almost 20% of the bill. I felt unsure. I took out my phone to do the math. 18% was $7.56. I wrote that amount on the receipt. The waiter smiled and said, "Thank you. Have a great night." As we left, I thought about how the price on the menu is never the final amount here. You add tax. You add a tip. It can be more expensive than you expect. But I learned to accept it. Tipping makes sense when you realize that service staff rely on it. Later, I practiced calculating 20% in my head. Soon I got used to it. I also understood that tipping is a way to show appreciation for good service. A few weeks after that, I received an important letter in the mail. It was an invitation to a company event. I had to send back an RSVP card. That meant I needed to visit the post office to buy stamps. I had never done that in the US before. I thought it would be simple. When I arrived, I saw a long line of people waiting. I was not sure where to go. There were different counters for mailing packages, picking up registered letters, or buying stamps. A kind woman behind me noticed my confusion. She tapped my shoulder. "Is this your first time here?" she asked with a friendly smile. I admitted it was. She pointed to a small machine near the entrance. "You need to get a number from that machine," she explained. "Then watch the screen for your turn." I thanked her and walked over. The machine asked me what service I needed. There were several options: mailing a package, buying stamps, picking up mail, and more. I just needed stamps, so I pressed the button for stamps. The machine printed out a ticket. My number was 86. I stood and looked at the digital board. The numbers on the screen were in the 60s. I realized I might have to wait a while. Finally, after about 20 minutes, I heard a beep. My number flashed on the screen. I hurried to the right window. The postal worker greeted me. "How can I help you today?" "I just need some stamps," I said. "Sure," she replied. "How many do you want?" I froze. I had never thought about how many stamps I actually needed. I knew I needed at least one stamp for my RSVP card. But maybe it was wise to buy extras for the future. 10 stamps, please," I finally said. "No problem," she answered. Then she asked another question. "What kind of stamps would you like?" I felt unsure again. I did not realize there were different designs. She showed me a sheet with flowers, flags, famous people, and even cartoon characters. I felt a bit silly for hesitating. Finally, I picked the flower stamps. She took my payment, handed me the stamps, and wished me a good day. Moving to the United States taught me much more than just how to do my new job. It taught me how to live my everyday life in a new culture. In the beginning, these differences were overwhelming. Sometimes I felt embarrassed by my mistakes. I worried people would judge me. But most people were kind. They explained things when I looked lost. They answered my questions without making me feel bad. Each day, I faced small challenges. Each day, I discovered something new. Over time, all these lessons added up. They made me stronger. They made me more confident. Now I do not feel like I am barely surviving. I feel like I am truly adapting to my new life. Of course, I still have a lot to learn. I still make mistakes. But I am proud of my progress. So here's to growth. Here's to embracing change. Here's to learning the little things that once felt impossible. Bit by bit, day by day, I am building a life in a new country. And that, for me, is the greatest adventure of all.